In the last video, we were able to import the terrain file, but we saw the terrain file had some problems. We have building footprint that have been removed, and this can impact our cross sections when we want to build the channel geometry. To fix this problem, we need to be able to fix this issue in HEC RAS using RAS-MAPPER. And the goal is to have a more realistic representation of the terrain on the right. We don't need to fill every building footprint. We just need to fill the building footprint close to our channel. We've already identified where our covert is going to be placed. So basically what we are saying in essence is that we have our covert in this location. We need to fill up these areas around the channel, so when we put our cross sections we don't have to deal with holes or some weird values that we don't want to have that problem in this model. So to do that, we need to go back to HEC RAS. We need to open RAS terrain, and then we need to go back and bring back our terrain. So we go to terrain, and then we hit right click and hit clone. We want to keep the original, so we hit clone. We'll say clone terrain, and we're going to write this ras-dtm clone. We say okay. So this is going to create a copy of the clone terrain, and that is what we have here. So they are the same right now, so you can see the difference. We're going to move this clone terrain upwards. So we're going to say move to top of layer. So we have it. So we're going to modify the clone terrain so we can keep the original in case we want to go back and use it for some modification or some modeling exercise. But right now what we need to do is pretty easy. We just have to start filling, doing terrain modification. To modify the terrain and fill up all the missing uh, building footprint, what we need to do, we need to use the nearest neighbor cells to fill up the holes. And to do that, we have to right click, we go to add new modification, we go to polygons, we get auto fill no data regions. Right click, we leave it as fill no data, and I can call it fill no data 1, and then we can say okay and allow it to create. So it's going to try to do an auto fill, but it's not going to do a good job everywhere, so we have to do the job, complete the rest of them. So to be able to fill the values, we have to pick nearest cells, and we don't want to go too far, so we don't have to create a weird representation. To fill it, we have to start any direction is fine. You can go anti-clockwise or you can go clockwise, so you just need to come back and double click it and say okay, and that applies. Sometimes it doesn't fill up immediately, so you have to redo it again and delete the line. Okay, apply, and that fills it, and you can leave that, or you can delete them later on when we turn it off. So we can go ahead and keep modifying this NA. So that's using the nearest neighbor cells to fill those gaps. So this is how we do the, that is filled. So I'm going to keep using the nearest cells to do that. That is filled. I'm going to keep doing that until I feel satisfied. That is filled. So I have one here. I don't want to go too far, so I can represent the overbank properly. So I'm going to say, oh, that is filled. So this is it. So at this point I am going to pause the video and I'm going to complete my own modification. I already have a copy of this terrain modified earlier, so I'm going to bring that in, so I don't need to waste time showing you what you should already know, or what uh, is can be automated. So basically, all you need to do going forward is to be able to come and fill all the holes you need around the channels, and we don't need to feed any holes or building footprints that is too far from the channels, because our cross section is not going to get about the whole of this area. We are pretty much going to fill up these areas around our cross sections, around our channel, because we want to insert our cross sections to be able to get to this high ground. So we are going to see how to do that. But right now I am going to hit save. I'm going to hit save, so that will save my work. And if you see here, if I click this, you see that the polygons I added are gone, but the terrain is still filled. And now we have a value. And how do I know? If I click on the terrain, I can inspect the values. Earlier when I click here, there are no values, but around you see values. Now we have a value here. You can see the low point and the high point. So now I'm going to bring in my previous terrain. So I'm going to have add new RAS terrain. Since I already created, I'm going to go back and I go to terrain. This is the clone DTM I have earlier. I'm going to hit open and allow it to load. It's going to take a while because this is a copy. So I'm going to have the terrain added. So I have the terrain added. It's called clone terrain, and I want to bring it to the top. So I'll say add it to the top. So also move to the top. So this is the terrain. This is the earlier version, the first model, and then I was able to fill in this building footprint. And I said I don't need to do everything because I have done it before, since I already showed you how to do that. And what I did earlier, you can see it here, which is this one. See the ones I filled? There's few, and some of them were auto-filled by the tool. But this is the one I have right now. If I close, if I bring it in, you can see that I filled in the whole area around the channel. So the whole of this area I have filled. So I have to use my own terrain since I already have it done. So I don't want to waste time and keep redoing what I have already done. I just want to show you how to do this. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to use this. And one more thing I need to do is to associate my clone terrain with the geometry. So to do that, I have to right click the geometry and say manage geometry association. The screen is blanking out, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to right click geometry, manage geometry association, and you can see all the terrains are here. So I want to associate it with this recent one, which is the clone DTM. And the rest of the mannings I don't have them, but if I have like a soil data, I can define curve number around the channel. But since I don't know that, I have information about the channel MANNING'S-N coefficient. Those ones I can add them later on, like even impervious or sediment. I don't have those information, but it will, during calibration, there's are information that can be added. But right now, I just want to associate my clone terrain with the base geometry, and I'm going to say close. I will go to project, file rather, I will say save. So these have saved. So now we've been able to bring in the Rust, create a Rust terrain and clone the terrain, and we were also able to look at how to fill in the building footprint or any holes. Sometimes we can also do channel modification where we can break this channel. If we want to break the channel, we can break the channel and be able to make a connection, and we can close it at the end of the day. But we don't want to do this because that will be a 2D model simulation. But rather in the 1D, we want to be able to place our cross sections just closer to the covert opening. And how do we do it? Know where our covert is, so we can bring in the shapefile of the covert. Okay, click on features, right click the features, say add existing layer. So we can go back and enter shapefile. We have the covert, the, the we have the covert, so we can see it. So this is the covert that we have here, and this is the covert information. You can see the covert opening, the first opening and second opening, and this are the highway. So what we need to do is probably we can change the color. We can right click and see layer properties. We want to use a very transparent, a color that uh, we can see that differentiates the covert from the background. So I want to use a color that I'm not going to repeat. So maybe I can use something like this. This may be good for now. We can change it later. For now, at least from far, we can see that covert and we can change it later. But this is how we are going to insert our covert. Our covert is a double box to 6 by 7, and we can look into that in detail in the next couple of videos. So let's stay tuned as we look into starting to create the channel geometry, where we are going to look at the stream center line. We're going to create the bank lines, we're going to create the flow path, and we're going to see how we can route that water from one cross section to the next cross section, get into the covert, and see how that contributes to water surface elevation and some losses. So I will see you in the next video.